This is Intro to Java, Class 3. This is the strings project, and the first step is just let me open NetBeans. In this project, we're supposed to go through a long list of methods, and understand how they work, and then display it in the output of going through each of their functions and typing it up. Should be open already. So the first thing we had to do was to show the 3 different ways of creating a string. The 3 different ways to create a string. Well, a string for one thing is an object that contains like a text, or like a phrase, or something that's going to be displayed in the output as like welcome or January. So the first thing is typing string, and then anything you type up after a string is the name of the string. That's what you're going to use to reference it. And so the first string that I made is January. And by typing =, and then new string, whatever is within these parentheses and quotation marks is going to be the the definition of the string. So that's what's going to be whenever you reference January. What's going to be in the output is January. It doesn't have to be like January and January. It can be like a phrase, or the winter month. It can be an abbreviation. Even the name of the string that you're going to be referenced, it can be like abbreviation too. It's just so that it's easier, so that you don't have to type out print line and then the quotation marks. You can just always reference the initial string that you made. And it helps to make the name of that string something simple, something that you will remember, so you're not getting lost in your code. And so the second way of making a string is the same introduction, same thing, starting out string, the name of it, so February, the =, and instead of typing out new string, you put in quotation marks and February. So it's just a simple way of making it. And so the third way is by typing in, instead of typing in string, you just type in June = quotation mark Father's Day. And those are the 3 ways. So if we run this and you print out February, you print the line, whatever is in the February string, the output should be February. So let's run it. Select the main class. And the first thing that comes up is February. And we can try January. And what comes up is January. So the second thing that I did was is by creating a new class. And this is supposed to, it's still referencing another section of the code. So this right here, this last part is all the methods that are in Java, the different types of methods that are used with using strings and string methods. So the first method is length. And with this, it shows you the length of that string. And that string that we used here, February, is right here. It's not that long. And when you look at the output, the number is 8. The second method is character @, which is CART, and then quotation marks. And this one returns the character to a specific index. And this one, instead of it being a number, it's going to be a letter. So I put the letter E and whichever character that I'm looking for at whatever point of the string. So the first one is always 0. So 0, 1, and the second letter is E. And then the output would be E. So the next method is code point at. And this one returns a Unicode of the character at a specific index. So it tells the output should be like the Unicode of what the character is at whatever point of that string. So for the 0 index of February, the Unicode is 102. The next one is the same thing, and instead of it showing that index, it's showing the one before it. So the index of 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, so U, and then the one before is R, so the Unicode of R is 114. Next one is code point, which is the same thing, but it's showing you, it's still code point, but it's showing you the range. So instead of it being just one integer, you're going to put 2 integers. So it's going to put whatever is in between. So when we typed in 0 and 3, the 0 index and the 3rd index, the output would be 3. The next one is comparison, compared to. So in this one, I had to create a new string, July, to reference. And so it would print the line, compare this part right here, line out is always going to reference whatever is in these parentheses, which is February. So because I typed in February, it's going to reference this set of string right here, and it's comparing July to July. And when it's comparing the two, it's comparing it lexicographically, so it can either be true or false. It can either be a positive or a negative number. So in this case, when we typed in July, comparing the two, the output is a -4. The next one is not so different, but instead of comparing it to, it's ignoring the case. And the output is the same number because I'm using like comparing the two strings, and it's still -4. The next one is Concat, which is this one right here. And I'm still using the July one, comparing the February string to July string. And this one, it appends a string to the end of another string. So this one takes 2 strings, and the output should be the text connected right next to each other. So in this case, I put a space plus July. Because if I didn't put that space, it would just put the 2 strings without a space in between, something to divide the 2 characters. So the output would be February space July. And it can be anything. I could use July and then put in January. It doesn't have to be a text before. It can be literally anything to reference any type of string, just to connect 2 strings together. And so the next method that I did was contains. And then this one is a true or false. It's not going to put an integer. It's not going to put a text. It's going to tell you if it's true or false. And it's going to ask you, this whole argument is, does the string February, line out dot contains, does the string February contain the letters E, B, R, U? In this case it does, so it's going to come out as true. And so the next one is contents equal. And then this one is still going to be true or false, but it's just going to ask, does February equal ARY? No, it doesn't. February is a whole long list of characters. It's not 3 letters. It's not 3 characters. So again, it's going to be false. So it's going to be false. And so the next one, I created another string. And in this string, it's going to be a list of 3 letters, A, U, and G. It's not a text. It's 3 different texts of characters. And so the next one should be, the next method that we used that I wanted to display here was copy value of. And so it's going to take the string of February, which is this right here, and taking the value of August, the 3 values, 0 and 3, 0, from the range 0 to 3, and displaying it instead of February. So if we looked under past the true or false, which is the one before, it's going to display the letters A, U, and G instead of February. So the next method was there, is going to be ends with. And then this one is going to be true or false. It's going to display true or false because it either is or it isn't. And it's asking, does it end with the letters A, R, and Y? Does it end with the characters A, R, and Y? And it does. So the output would be true right here. So the next one line out is going to ask, does it equal July? Does February equal July? And this one compares two strings, and again, it's true or false. And it's going to ask, are they the same thing? Yes or no? And in this case, it's no. Okay. And then the next method was equals to ignore case. The ignore case part is so that it's going to ignore the uppercase or lowercase, because again, case sensitivity is the case of a letter, uppercase, lowercase, again, like that whole thing. But since they're both in the same case, they're both lowercase, it would have been ignored either way. So the output is going to be the same thing, comparing July to February, and again, it's false. They're not the same set of characters. They don't contain the same values. They're not the same. And so the next method that we did was format. This one is asking if it returns a formatted string using a specific location, a formatted string, and an argument. So in this one, the string, so in Java, when you type two characters together, it could have a different meaning. So will a backslash could create a new line. Using a backslash n could create a new line. Using two backslashes will just ignore the backslash and just put the type up backslash. So again, you can't just type in anything in a string and then just expect it to display it, because it could have a whole different meaning. So in this one, %s has a meaning that the text is going to be a string, and then below it is %d, and that's going to be an integer or a number, any type of number. So when I put %s, it's going to reference July. If I put a number instead, it's not going to display. It's going to display like an error. And the one below it, because it's an integer, it's going to display it. But if I put July underneath it, it's going to put an error because I put %d. Value is %d. Month is %s, July. So it's like month is the text and then July. Value is the number 07. So when we look below, it's going to type up, the output is going to be month is July, month is 7. So yeah. And then the next method that I did was the get bytes one, but I had a really hard time with that, so I just what's called again? I had a hard time with that. So the first step to do it, I had to create a new string again so that I can start fresh, and the string that I made was Monday, which is a weekday. And get bytes is supposed to, it encodes the string into a sequence of bytes using the name char set, and then it stores the result in a new byte array. So the first thing I did was create a new string, and then a new array using the get bytes. It was easier to just use referencing, so I put system out print line array 1 to print this section Monday get bytes. And so the result should be this section right here, bracket B at 7349F. It's that whole output is supposed to be a sequence, a byte sequence. The next one is get characters. I had a really hard time with that one too, so I commented it out, but it should look like it's a lot similar to like the get bytes method. I started out the same way: get characters, the two brackets, array 2, so we're going to make a completely different array. New character, and then it's supposed to print line and then get the characters of from 0, 3, then the array, then 4. I really wasn't sure about that. So the next method was a hash code, and this one returns the hash code of a string. So it's again, it's not referencing July or anything, it's referencing February again, so line out dot hash code. So it's going to take the hash code, and it should be right here, -2398, long list of integer, like a long integer. So the next one that I did was index of, and in this one it's going to tell me like where it is on that string. So I put the letters EBR, the characters EBR, within February, and it's going to tell me returns the position found of the specified characters on a string, and then the output is 1. It's in the beginning of it, between the first one and the third one. So the next one I did was intern, and this one returns the canonical representation of the string object. So this one I wasn't sure of what the output should be, but I think it worked. So I created a new string again, string December, and it's the July one dot intern with the parentheses. And then I created a new string above here somewhere called September. So it's going to take September and it's going to compare it to July string, the 2 different strings. And so the result should be a number, so it's going to be false. The next method that I did is empty, and it's going to tell me if the string is empty or not. It's not empty, so it's going to be false. It should be false because the string February is February. So if you look below, it says false. And then the next method was line out index of, the last index of. And in this one, it's going to tell me, the position of the last found occurrences of the specified characters in a string. I didn't type in anything within the parentheses. So let's say if I typed in Y. Let's see if that works. Yeah. So Y is the 7th index of the February string. And the next one is the length, but I already explained that. It's going to display the lengths of the string, and that's 8 indexes long, including 0. So it's 9 characters long. And then the next one is matches, and I think this one compares to see, it searches a string for a match against the regular expression and returns the matches. So this one tells you if it matches or not. It's literal. So there's a string called October above here, and October it's another string format. But it's going to display the month of July. So if you look here, October, does it match? It's going to be positive. It's going to be false because it doesn't match. And so yeah, so the output is false. And then this is another code points like we did in the beginning. And in this one, it's going to return the index within the string that is offset from the given index by code points. And it's going to display, the output is going to be an integer. So for this one, the index is between the first and the second. And so the result is going to be 2, because that's, The next method I did was region matches. And in this one, it tests if two string regions are equal. So it's going to test if the region of September and it's going to compare September and February. And it's going to compare if between the fifth index, the fifth index of February and the zero index and the fifth index of September are the same, and they're not the same. It's going to be false right here. And then the next method that we did was replace. This one is literally just going to replace the string with under the letters that you put. So the first one is what you're looking for, and then the second part of it is what you want to replace it with. So instead of it being February, it's going to display January. And if you look below, it says January. Should be right here. And so the next one is going to be replaced again, but it's going to be replaced first. And this is going to replace the first occurrence of a substring that matches the given regular expression with the given placement. So it's going to take February and replace the first occurrence of February with mortuary. So with mort. So it's going to take these first four characters and change it with mort, and the result should be mortuary. So the next method is split. And then this one is going to split a string into an array of substrings. It is displayed right here in a bracket, after the bracket, ljava.lang string. And then the next one is a true or false, and it's going to ask if the string February starts with the characters A, B, and C. It doesn't. February is FEB, so the output would be false, and it is right here. And then the next method that we did was subsequence. And then this one is going to return a new character sequence that is a subsequence of this sequence. So between the fourth and the sixth index, it's going to display those characters instead of the whole string. So it's going to be UA. Those are the two characters that are within the fourth and the sixth index. The next one is the same thing, except the only difference between the two is that it's going to extract the characters from the string, beginning at a specific and through the specific numbers. So the first one is after the fourth one and between the fourth and the sixth. So it's going to be the third and the fifth. The fifth is going to be the fifth one. The fourth and the fifth one. And so this one is going to be the third, between the third and the seventh. And so it's going to be RUAR. And so the next method that I did was two character array. And this one converts a string into a new character array. And it's just going to display February. And then the next method I did was to display it in lowercase. So it's going to display it in lowercase. It's already in lowercase, so it's not going to look any different. And so the next one is going to display, the next method is toString. And this one is going to return the value of the object, which is February. So it's going to display the same thing again. Then there's the uppercase method, which is going to be in uppercase, so it's going to look different because it wasn't already in uppercase. And then this one is going to trim, so let's put in something. We can put in trim ARY. Oh no, this one, it doesn't trim a section of the string, it just trims the white space of the string. It doesn't have any white space, so it's just going to display the same thing. And then the last method that we did was value of, and then return the string representation of a specific value. So the value of the sixth index is 6.